I'm Julie Hasson, founder of the Chalk and Chances Project. This is the third video in our series, Keys to Better Student-Teacher Relationships. We know students are always picking up clues about our beliefs, and what we believe about them influences our relationships with them. So today we're talking about expectations. Our expectations are a powerful predictor of our students' outcomes. They will always rise to the level of our expectations. They're always making inferences about what we believe, and we send them messages through our actions in the classroom. In this case, what we do sends messages much more powerful than what we say. Students make inferences based on the tasks we assign them. Are they challenging? Are they engaging? Are they meant to meet that particular student's needs? They also make inferences about our expectations based on the feedback we give them. Is the feedback detailed? Does it move them on to the next level? That feedback tells them that the assignment was worthy of their time and that they are worthy of our time and effort. They also make expectations just based on the energy we bring into the classroom. Are we excited to see them? Are we happy to teach them? Those things send powerful messages that we believe they can learn and grow. Let me give you a classroom example. Once I was observing in a third grade class, and this terrific young teacher was asking questions. They were great higher order questions, and she was randomly picking students to answer. All the kids were engaged. They were all ready to answer the question when she called on one little boy. He hesitated. It was clear he didn't know the answer right away, and she quickly said, "Do you want to phone a friend?" He said yes, tapped a friend who provided the answer. Now, I thought about the message that sent, and as the lesson moved on and they got to independent work time, I scooted over by that kiddo and asked him, "Tell me about phone a friend." And this is what the third grader said. He said, "She doesn't let the smart kids phone a friend." And when they got back into whole group and she started asking questions again, I realized he was right. With some kids, she probed and scaffolded and restated the question until they got to the answer. And with some kids, she quickly went to phone a friend. It was clear to me which students she thought were capable of answering a hard question and which students were not. And it must have been clear to the students too. Now I know she had the best of intentions and her heart was in the right place. She wanted to prevent her kids from struggling or maybe feeling embarrassed, but the message she was sending told them everything about her expectations. So think about what messages you're sending through your actions, your choices, and your instructional practices. What are you telling students by the way you greet them each day, by the way you put them in groups, by the tasks you assign, by the kind of feedback you give, or just by the way you interact with them in the classroom? One of my favorite stories from the Chalk and Chances Project came from Nicholas, who told me about his high school ELL resource teacher, Mrs. Alfonso. Nicholas spoke English as a second language. His family moved here from Puerto Rico when he was in middle school. By the time he got to high school, he was strong in math, but he struggled a bit in writing. And Mrs. Alfonso required him to sit with her every time he had a paper due. She would go through that paper and correct every error with him, but she also explained to him why it was wrong and how he could do it better. He said by the time they finished, his paper was full of marks from her purple pen, but he learned so much and he grew into a really competent writer. By the time he got to college, his writing skills were strong. He majored in pre-law and eventually became a lawyer. And he said Mrs. Alfonso was right. He would not have been seen as competent and confident as he is if he lacked those writing skills. So he credits her with a lot of his success as an attorney. I challenge you to reflect on the beliefs you carry and how those beliefs influence your actions and interactions in the classroom. By holding high expectations, you influence your students' outcomes and you influence their futures. High expectations help you become the teacher every student remembers. For a free ebook full of little ways to make a big impact, text the word resource to 66866. And be sure to visit chalkandanchances.com for even more inspirational stories.